moment.
I was watching Fox News yesterday and I saw a promo for a new series coming up on Fox. It's a 10-part series, and the focus of the series is how black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, especially why cops are always picking on black people for no reason whatsoever, especially why cops are always arresting them, especially why prosecutors are always prosecuting them, why juries are always convicting them, why judges are always putting them away for way too long, and when they get out, why they go back in far too often, all because one reason only, white racism. And I saw the same story on NPR, saw the same story on MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all the major networks. Then I look in my email box and I see dozens and dozens and dozens of new examples, recent examples, of how black people are the predators, not the victims. How black violence, black on white crime, black criminality, black mob violence is wildly out of proportion. And how so many reporters and public officials seem to be in denial, deceit, and delusion about it. There's no reconciling these two realities. One is true, one is not. I wonder which one it is.
At 11, a Southwest Philadelphia deli owner talks about getting beat up by a customer over a cheesesteak. Now, this video may be hard to watch, but the owner of the store on Elwood Avenue says the man wanted a discount. As NBC 10's Keith Jones reports, she wants this guy off the streets.
Picture this. It was daylight. The scene, daylight breakfast and more. For the 60-year-old woman who owns this place, it was a normal day until two guys walked inside.
I never thought about he gonna hit my face.
A 60-year-old afraid to show her face because of this guy. He approaches the counter and orders a cheesesteak, but didn't like the price.
He kept on and on. I said, "Are you stupid?" He said, "Say it one more time." So I said, "You are stupid."
That's when he takes his juice and squirts it all over the counter. What happens next, the owner will never forget.
I just want to talk to him. I never fight with nobody.
But the guy socks her in the face, sending her flying backwards. She somehow returns to her feet. The guy continues to beat her mercilessly. We showed this video to people across the 7,000 block of Elmwood Street.
Craziness. Recklessness.
Con Laws goes to the woman's store every morning. He says she's nice.
It was a bad move from coming behind the counter and even trying to go at the individual, but that's disrespectful.
And illegal. Police are looking for these two men, one of whom punched a 60-year-old woman relentlessly.
I never thought about. Most customers around here very nice to me, and I know most of the people.
In Southwest Philadelphia, Keith Jones, NBC 10 News.
Do your job the right way, by the book.
It is my job to focus on the truth. And my truth has no color.
What about Joe? Killed 2 weeks ago.
Your son's death was never investigated?
Can't talk about it.
We both know something ain't right here.
Department of Justice, you see anything?
Talk to us, we can protect you.
No one's got answers for you, because you keep asking the wrong question.
You are the very best part of me. Embrace your fearlessness, okay?
We should go back. They say must be tough for your little girl. Kai, that's her name, right?
Your threats don't faze me.
That feeling you felt, that scared, angry tightness. That's what my deputies feel every day.
Some people got the real problem. Some people out of love.
We're taking on an entire sheriff's department.
I'm only human after all.
I am not declaring war on my citizens.
Your citizens have already declared war on you.
I'm only human.
In that moment, it was either him or me.
I'm on the clock.
Is here with us, and listeners have been calling for justice. I think there was an LA Times reporter who recently wrote that being black is exhausting.
Victims are calling these crimes a major invasion of privacy. They say they knew something was wrong here in this quiet neighborhood when they heard car alarms going off. So take a good look at these photos. Neighbors caught these thieves on surveillance cameras rifling through at least 10 cars early Sunday morning. Again, it happened on Parish Creek Lane. The victim tell us the glove boxes were rummaged through. They woke up, they found cash and a purse were all stolen from their cars. We spoke to one victim who has this message to the thieves.
We're not a community that's going to stand, still and not say anything just because, a couple punk kids come through our neighborhood and rummaging. I mean, it's invasion of your privacy. My wife was kind of nervous to drive the car the next day.
Your investigator. How aggressive I go.
Yeah, scary stuff. And our colleague John Burkett, he has sources that tell him that similar crimes happen in the Swift Creek Crossing neighborhoods just down the road here. They all believe they're connected to the Colony Point crimes here. So
talk about it. We both know something ain't right here. Department of Justice, you see anything?
Talk to us. We can protect you.
No one's got answers for you. You keep asking the wrong question.
You are the very
5 men have been arrested in connection to several break-ins in Kershaw County. It happened early this morning on Highway Church Road in Elgin. Deputies and the Elgin police began riding through neighborhoods after a report of a suspicious person getting into a vehicle. A short time later, investigators located that vehicle with 5 men inside, debit cards, and other items they say had been stolen from car break-ins in that area. The men were taken to jail and faced multiple charges.
We're taking on an entire sheriff's department.
I was shot twice, hit over the head with a fluorescent light bulb, hit numerous times in the body with bats and bars, had my toes cut, like pretty much anything you can think of. Seconds before, the door opens to the room, and one of the guys who was like responsible for watching over us kind of like the entire time comes in and was like not wearing a mask, and he like comes up to us and kind of like starts undoing like the bindings around our legs and hands, and he's just like you guys are free, like you can go. And like, I mean, my legs like in 2 pieces, like I can't go anywhere. And then like seconds after he leaves the room, like the entire house just like lights up, like, and I thought they were like burning down the house. Like the house like shook and like lit up like so bright. And but really it was the SWAT team like blowing their entrance into the house, like 2 detonated entrances, and then like they came in real fast and like real stealth like and quiet, and then they kind of found us in the room. I was in an intensive rehabilitation program, physical therapy program, for over 25 days. The things that definitely kept me going was just like my family and like God. I mean, I was like saying that like this definitely isn't my time, like I don't know why this is happening, and I just made the conscious decision to kind of not stop and just like, I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to close my eyes and just like die, because I knew that would happen if I just like chose to give up. I mean, I was just enduring so much like blows to my body. I mean, after I got hit over the head with the light bulb, I was just bleeding so much from my head, and I already been shot twice. So, I mean, luckily I didn't like die instantly. I mean, they had different roles, they had different nicknames, it just seemed that they were very well put together. I mean, obviously they ended up all getting caught and charged, but the way that they went about this and just put it together, and I mean, it was very organized. They had one designated person who was responsible for overseeing us. I mean, there's just some bad people that will do, like, apparently go to some extreme extents just for money.
white kid. Only a black prosecutor can indict without it.
We have different standards for blacks in this organization, and we have for years. So again, we need to continue to talk about those things. And again, why would we think we take an oath and we swear in and our biases go away? And you look at some of these people that left the organization that people perceive them to be fair, and they've done some things, sending in letters alleging sexual harassment. They sat at a table at a restaurant in the suburban area. I know exactly what they did. Sent it in, the board looked at it, there was no sexual harassment. The person that the supposed victim didn't even know they were submitting it. These are some people that have done some dastardly deeds after they left the organization. And again, if they were here responsible for and overseeing some minorities, what did they do while they were here if they were willing to leave and do some of those things? So that's what I want to bring everybody's attention to. Nails in my tire at my house. A letter in my mailbox said dead man walking. There's a lot of things going on out there that I need to bring to the surface. And I'm not a victim, don't get me wrong, but there's some things that we need to talk about openly about some of our culture, because some of those people doing some of these things outside the organization were the same people that had power when they were in the organization. So why would we think we don't have a problem here when it's in housing, banks, sports, education, the news?
Being black is exhausting.
I mean, Sue was my best friend, and that jerk just took her from me.
Curtis Goodwin says the night of October 29th replays in his head daily.
I keep thinking I could have done something different.
Goodwin tells me he and his fiancée, Suzanne Pope, woke up to knocking around 4 a.m. A man with a gun was at the door.
He goes past me, goes right over to Suzanne and shoots her. And then I panicked and I didn't know what to do, so I started trying to fight with him and he shot me.
Police say that man was 31-year-old Tyrick Leslie.
And finally, Pastor William Lamar, pastor at Metropolitan AME Church. And Pastor, let me start with you. Some people have said we've got this epidemic of violence. Do we, and is that the correct term for it?
Well, Chris, thanks for the opportunity to share on these difficult, seemingly intractable issues. I was at a meeting at the Brookings Institution earlier in the week, and they're asking similar questions. And I think that we in America, journalistically and historically, pick up on this story in the middle. If you pick up on the story in the middle, what it appears is that black people are ontologically, intellectually deficient, and some people say even prone to violence. In order to really deal with this, we have to deal with the policies and political and economic realities that cause what it is that we see in Washington, what we see in the United States, what we see really globally. I believe that this begins with the violence of bringing people to this nation against
You about to wiggle. Wing that nigga. Wing that nigga, wiggle. Ooh. Ooh, shit. Ooh, shit, cuz. Ooh, cuz. Don't need to go. I had to call the police now, sir. Don't you know what the fuck is wrong with you, boy? You need to stop for the law. You need to shut the fuck up. Ooh, cuz. You need to stop. What is wrong with you? Don't do it no more, cuz. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. World star. Don't do it no more. Don't no more. You alright, cuz? Cuz. You alright, cuz? Hey, yo, cuz, you alright?
the violence that you see in the federal housing policies that created ghettos, the violence in educational policy that ensures that those who are wealthy get a better education. So we have to view this violence not just as what we see in these neighborhoods, but violent government actions that we think are neutral. And we have to have a more robust conversation about the historical things that impinge upon these realities. Because if you separate those things out, it appears that what you see in these communities is just these people who are in some way aberrant.
Some people got the real problem. Some people out of love.
We're taking on an entire sheriff's department.
I'm only human after all.
I am not declaring war on my citizens.
Your citizens have already declared war on you.